This is footage from a Russian fibre-optic drone on the hunt inside the besieged Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk. In the cat-and-mouse game of drone development that's been the hallmark of this conflict, these are the next level. Controlled by a fibre-optic cable rather than a radio signal, these UAVs feed back crystal-clear imagery and are immune to electronic jamming. And Russia is using them in their thousands. So what, if anything, can be done to stop them?
Interrupting the signal is very difficult because it's not broadcast. So how do you tap into a fibre optic cable? It's technically very difficult. The other option is to break that connector, if you like, and that is really the only option. Either to shoot the drone out of the sky, and you'd have to be quite precise if the drone is hundreds of feet in the air or even hundreds of meters. And the drones are not that big, so you'd have to have a pretty accurate shot to destroy the drone. More likely, the vulnerable aspect is to use a winged drone against a tethered drone, a winged drone whose wings are perhaps a kamikaze type winged drone with wings that have been configured with very sharp blades, very sharp leading edges, and literally to fly a drone of several feet wingspan into the tether in the hope of disrupting the images and the data transfer.
The principle of a fibre optic drone is quite simple. Take a standard FPV drone and attach a reel of fibre optic cable to the body. It doesn't provide power, that still comes from batteries, but it can be used to control the drone and feed back high-quality video signals, doing away with any of the radio emissions that make a UAV detectable, and making the drone impervious to electronic jamming. The weight of the fibre optic conductor does reduce the flight time and weapons payload slightly, but these drones can still fly for more than 20 kilometres into the enemy's lines and stay airborne for around 20 minutes. Russia was the first to introduce fibre-optic FPV drones, using them for reconnaissance and attacks on Ukrainian forces. A 1.5 kilogram reel of fibre-optic cable is enough to provide a drone with 10 kilometres of range. Ukraine is deploying its own version of these drones, with reports it's also developing sound detectors that can identify incoming UAVs. In December, the British Army successfully trialled what's called a radio frequency directed energy weapon. It uses high-frequency radio waves to damage critical components inside drones. Longer-term, lasers are another possible answer. The Royal Navy is fitting the Dragonfire laser system to its ships from 2027. But for now, finding a way to cut the fibre-optic cable seems to be the only realistic solution.
You change some of those plastic blades for titanium sharpened edge blades. That would cut through a tether. So it wouldn't even need to fly into it. The titanium edge, the speed at which the blades go around on a quadcopter, you may need something slightly bigger than a small Phantom, just because of the torque on the rotor. You would need sufficient force for it to cut through the fibre optics. But it does strike me that titanium, very lightweight, very sharp-edged titanium blades would give you the lift you need on the drone, and you can control it right onto the cable, and it would be a manual cut. But I think a manual cut is still a hard manual cut like that is still the thing that needs to be done.
Each Ukrainian brigade is said to be using around 1,000 drones every month. In many parts of the front line, they're the single biggest reason the Ukrainians are holding on. Like every development before, a solution to countering the fibre-optic threat will undoubtedly be found. The challenge for Ukraine is doing it quickly before more cities like Pokrovsk are overrun by the Russian army. Simon Newton, BFBS Forces News. Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.